All right. Hello, and welcome to the CPD or the CEC's chat. So this is quite a big and misunderstood topic. So I wanted to do a video that you can flick back to at any time and get some answers about CPD or CEC points. So let's start off with the real basics, shall we? CPD stands for Continued Professional Development. CECs stands for Continuing Educational Credits. Now, these two are exactly the same thing. They're used interchangeably depending on what country you're from, depending on what you practice. Maybe you're a fitness professional, Pilates instructor, yoga instructor, everything kind of falls under that. Maybe you're a therapist and you have to do CECs via a medical board. But basically, it's anything that makes you grow as an instructor or as a professional. Hence, I tend to go the CPD route because I'm talking about your continued professional development. So those are the terms I'm going to use in short, CPD and CECs. I'm just going to stick with CPD today, but they mean the same thing. So you can change those out as you wish. Now, why are these important? Well, they're really important because you don't want to just do your initial certification and then stay where you are. I mean, you might, but I don't see the fun in that personally. So you want to continue to grow as an instructor, okay, and develop professionally. And that isn't just for you, but it's for your clients and your colleagues as well. So you can bring more to the team. So you should want to do CPD points even if you're not being told to do them. Now, most of us only hear about CPD points when we are told you need to do a certain amount per year. Some governing bodies, and we're going to talk about governing bodies in a second, will have that year and they'll span it out over two. And that's because if you do a course in 2025, which is a long course and gets you, I don't know, 16 to 20 points, and then you don't do anything the next year, they take the average of those points over 2 years. So it's a little bit of a fairer system to save you shelling out year on year and year. Because say you only need 4 points a year, but you've done a course in 2025 that gets you 20 points. Essentially, 16 of those points are wasted if you're only doing them for a governing body's purposes. So yes, you should want to complete these points for your own personal practice in order to grow and be better for you and your clients and your colleagues for that matter. But a lot of us are doing them to stay recognized. Now, that might be by a governing body, and those are called different things in different countries. So in the States, for Pilates instructor, you have the PMA. You might be governed by a couple of bodies. If you happen to be a personal trainer as well, you may need to keep up your points for two different governing bodies. And that's when things become quite challenging. Hopefully, these governing bodies recognize each other's points as well. In the UK, it used to be reps. It's now SimSpa. Here in the UAE, it's reps. I think in Australia, it's probably reps still. I'm a little out of touch with that side. So, leave a comment if it's not, and I need to get myself up to date. But yeah, there's different governing bodies around the world. Now, these governing bodies, when I talk about SimSpa, reps, PMA, they're mainly so that you can stay on the list of Pilates instructors or fitness instructors in that country, and that you are insured as a Pilates instructor or a fitness professional in that country. Now, there's a little bit of a gray area when it comes to a brand. So let's say you've done a Pilates certification with a certain brand. I'm not going to get into naming the different brands here because they all have different rules and it becomes a little bit of a minefield, but I'm going to tell you how to simplify that in a moment. So say you've done a Pilates certification under one brand. That brand will then want you to continue your professional development so you don't just sit still and never do anything else to further yourself or further your career. Now, of course, they love you to do workshops within their brand because at the end of the day, it is a business and they want to not only make sure that their business is growing, but make sure you're growing with them and make sure that they keep the quality of their instructors the same and standard and up to date. But do you have to do all of your CPD points with them? What if you look to another course or education provider, whether that's a big brand and a company or just one individual, and you think, oh, I'd really love to do their course. Can I do their course? Of course you can. You can go outside of that brand and do a course. The thing that might happen then when you go back to the brand is that you might give them your certificate and say, here, I've done my CPD points outside of the brand this year. They may ask you to pay a fee to have that recognized. So that's really the only thing, is paying a little bit extra. It's normally a nominal amount to have some of your CPD points recognized from a different education provider. Now, can you get your CP points from anywhere? Can you get your points free even? In my book, yeah, you can, because ultimately, let's look at the word C, or the definition of CPD, continued professional development. As long as it's continuing your professional development, you're inspired as an instructor, you've learned something. CPD back in my day when I was a therapist in the clinic used to be as simple as you having a chat about a certain case study with a colleague, bouncing ideas off each other. And after that, going back to your clients or your patient, as I called them then, because I was in the clinic, and actually doing better for them because you talked about the case study. Now, obviously, this is done on an honesty basis. You log your note, you log in a personal log or a log that's maybe given to you by a brand if they're that organized, and say, well, I had an hour-long chat about a case study with a group of colleagues. If you're working in a clinic, some clinics even do once a week, they do a case study evening where they all sit down and talk. And it's such a wonderful way to exchange ideas and talk about different diagnoses. So could you do it by reading a journal article? Well, yeah, of course. If you spend an hour reading a journal article and you update your knowledge, that counts, okay? If you go on a free online masterclass or workshop, some of the free ones I offer, and you need me to issue you a certificate of attendance, there's not many education providers I know that if you reached out to them and say, hey, you know that masterclass you gave, can you issue me a certificate of attendance? Now, as long as you were there in person, then yeah, most people will. I'll happily issue you with a certificate of attendance as long as you were there. That may or may not be recognized by a governing body. But the point is, you have the attendance certificate, you were there, you furthered your knowledge. Most paid courses and workshops, be it in person or be it online, will absolutely issue you a certificate of attendance. And if they have an exam after them or some sort of test, you'll probably get a certificate of certification as well. Those should definitely count. Most in-person courses definitely count. So as you can see, there are various ways with various costs attached that you can complete your CPD. It really doesn't always have to be an expensive or lengthy in terms of time course or workshop. And you just think, oh, it's so overwhelming. I just don't know when I'm going to be able to fit that in. I would, to be on the safe side, do a variety. So yes, do a paid course or workshop once a year. If you can set aside a certain amount of money for that, great. But then, dabble in some free stuff, dabble in talking to colleagues and log it, make a note of it. What I will say in terms of brands and governing bodies is always reach out to them. They will often have an email address specifically for CPD points, depending on the size of the establishment. Reach out to them, email them, create a rapport with them. They might even have just one person that you get to know and create a rapport with that deals with CPD points, because that way you're getting the information and the rules and the regulations from them. They're the ones that you're asking for a tick in the box from. So it really is best you speak to them. I can't possibly sit here and let alone know all the rules and regulations of every governing body across in the world, across every country. So always reach out to them. Okay. Most of them are there to help. They want to do the best for you. And if they can help you to understand and get to where you need to go, they will. So I want to say thank you so much for listening to this. If you have any additional questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram, the Victoria Roper, or email me, Victoria Roper Victoria at victoriaroper.com, or just leave a comment below on the video and I'll answer that comment there for everybody to see. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you for inspiring me to do this video, and I really hope that you found it helpful.